Everyone, welcome to the Distinguished David channel. This is Adiola Naomi coming live with another book review, and this time we're reviewing this book. The name of the book is Homegoing, and the name of the author is Yaa Gyasi. She is an amazing, incredible writer. And before I go into the review of the book and give you a note, I'm gonna say some of the things I think about the book and also what I heard. Like, this is a first published book, Yaa Gyasi's first published book. So it's a debut novel, it's a fiction novel. It talks about incredible things that I personally will suggest the book to anyone who loves a good literature, anyone who loves a good read, anyone who knows book, and anyone who really loves book and fiction. And to start with, like, what I will say is, before I read this book, because it's a debut novel and people kind of hype it up, there is a lot of hype about it, people are speaking about it, people are like, this is incredible, you need to read this, you need to read this. It's literally everywhere when it came out, and I was a bit like, maybe I should check my expectation and not just be careful, because if I had expectation and I got disappointed, then that's a bad thing. And it's not really necessarily bad, but sometimes it is when it comes to books. But yeah, it wasn't the same thing with this book. Like, this book literally delivers every single thing people were saying about it. Like, everything I've read, every review, every recommendation, anything people have said about the book was just incredible. And the only thing I will say is it's a bit time consuming, and it's because it's engaging, so it grinds the reader and it takes you into the story, and you literally will not be able to put it down if you're someone like me. At least I don't know about other people. And also to say, like, everyone I know have read this book or have got the book and not finished it yet or something like that. So I will suggest you go get it, like, even before you watch my review. If you don't want me to spoil it for you, sometimes I kind of tend to spoil books, I'm so sorry. But if you don't want me to spoil it, I'll say pause this and go read it and come back and let's exchange opinions. But if you're into people telling you something, yeah. So I'm gonna share with you the things I love about this, number one, and number two, I'm just gonna review it. So let's start with the novel. So the novel basically talks about a family. There are two sisters, and it goes from the setting of the novel is like pre-colonial and colonial and post-colonial Ghana. So Ghana used to be the Gold Coast and all of that. So it also like takes you through the history of what happened with the British Empire, with Ghana, with West Africa, but specifically Ghana, and then talks about people in America. So what happened during the slave trade in America, what happened during the Great Migration, the civil rights movement. But it doesn't really touch about the bigger issue, general issue like civil rights movement, but it touches about the life of these people during that era. So what you will see is, like, the book is literally a family tree, right? So it's a genealogical tree of, I was going to speak Greek here. It was a genealogical tree. So basically you follow this family from when it was Essie and Efia, who are two sisters, but they don't even know they were sisters. So they're basically half sisters, and it just follows their life. So basically it's like two sisters and the people they got married to, the children they have, the children they have, they got married to. So basically talking about their lives. And the book is written in such a way that you can't, like, so basically when you start with Efia and her sister Essie, first chapter was about Efia and developed character and everything about Efia, right? And going on and on, the second chapter is about Essie. So the generation are like two chapters. So basically what I would suggest is, if you're gonna read and drop this book and you can't finish it at once, some people can, if you can, make sure you read two chapters at a time. So you read the same generation at a time, so that you can like not mix it. I don't know, like, also if you can't follow when things change, like every character changes. So the story is like, when you leave Efia and Essie, it goes to their kids. I'm not going to say the name of the kids because I don't remember really. It goes to their kids and also developed a whole character. So every character is developed and very complex, have depth. It's not just like flaky people, they're just people with history. And like, for example, Effia was a beauty who got married to a British colonizer, I don't know, a soldier, one of the slave trader, and he lived in Gold Coast, Ghana, and her sister was actually in the dungeon. I don't know if it was the same time, but I think it is the same. Actually, it is the same time. She was in the dungeon where it's literally the castle where Effia lived with her husband, but she was held as a slave there and then transported to the Americas. So these two history are combined, but not in the same chapter, but in the same generation. These two sisters are living these two different lives. And then talks about when Essie got to America and got sold to slavery, tried to escape, got married, because she was what's called, the slave owner wanted her to be married to a specific other slave who is also West African, who I think it was a Yoruba person because of his name at least and the language he speaks. But there was also a lot of like reference to West African language, mostly Fante, Twi and Ashanti languages, and also culture. So it's also a good way to learn about the culture of this countries pro and post colonization. So what happened, like historical facts that happened during and after, and it touches a lot. For me personally, I think it touches a lot about the people. So you follow these people during this period of time. It's not just generalizing about who is who and what is going on during that period. So it basically touches about the life of the people. And then you go to Essie, who was married, who tried to escape slavery, who failed and then had to give her back and stuff like that, you know. So it just shows their journey, and as you go, they give back to children, their children give back to children, things happen, you know, all these children have their own character and develop their character. So literally every chapter is a different character, and the story is a very different perspective from those people. So one thing is, you will learn how family works in terms of like what stories we got told, like oral stories from our family, what we learn, what we don't learn. Like most of the time you know the story of a character than they do. So you know more about this character than the character actually know about themselves, because you've been following their generation. And it ended in a very, very nice way in Ghana, in Gold Coast, in present day, I guess, Ghana. And it just touches a lot about, for me, it makes me want to visit Ghana, actually, to be honest. Like when I dropped this book, when I finished it, I was like, I need to go to Ghana and I need to see the castle. I need to see the passage from Africa, from West Africa specifically to the Americas, and where the ship sailed to America. And I'm not gonna tell you, this is not a heavy book, because some people are like, is it too heavy? Is it all about slavery? Is it? I think no, it's not. It's a book that touches about human development and how human beings are and what we go through as a person, as a bond, as a family. Basically talking about what used to happen even before slavery in present day Ghana, what happened now and why. And most of the time, like, a lot of us want to know more about where we come from, and most of the oral stories we've been told might not necessarily be the whole story or even the true version of the story, if you get what I mean. Like, after I read this book, I remember calling my aunt because I was asking her some questions about my origins and about people. I know that I'm 100%, if that even a thin Nigerian, but still I wanted to know more. And I think this book kind of pushes you to learn more. And my opinion is that you can't go forward if you don't know where you're coming from. So yeah, this is such a good read, and it's basically developed each character. So each character literally have their own say in the book, and you're just an observer. So it takes you through a journey to England, to America, to Ghana, and back to Ghana. And one of the things I did when I was reading the book was like fold some pages, so because I knew I want to do the review, and I like when people read a part of a book. And like when you go to book readings and all, and people read a part of book and then you go buy it. I hope you do. So let me read some part for you. This is selected randomly, by the way, so I'm gonna go. Edwese was empty. The absence of men felt like its own presence. Sometimes Aqua would think that not much at all had changed, but then she would see the empty field, the rotting yams, the wailing woman. Aqua's dreams were getting worse too. In them, the fire woman raged against the loss of her children. Sometimes she spoke to Aqua, calling her, it seemed. She seemed familiar, and Aqua wanted to ask her questions. She wanted to know if the fire woman knew the white man who had been burned. If everyone touched by fire was a part of the same word. If she was being called, instead, she didn't speak. She woke up screaming. In the midst of all the turmoil, Aqua was pregnant, at least 6 months now. She figured by the shape and firm weight of her belly. One day, more than halfway through the war, Aqua was boiling yam to send to the soldiers, and she could not lift her eyes from the fire. This again? Nana Serwa said. I thought we had finished with your idleness. Are our people out fighting so that you can stare in the fire and scream at night for your children to hear? No, ma, Aqua said, shaking herself out of a stupor. But the next day she did it again. And again, her mother-in-law scolded her. The same thing happened the day after that, and then the day after that, until Nana Serwa decided that Aqua was sick and she must stay in her hut until the sickness had left her body. Her daughters will stay with Nana Serwa until Aqua had fully healed. Yeah, that's a very beautiful. Oh my god, I just want to go back now. This is a very beautiful part of the story. Beautiful because I've read the entire story. Tragic because you haven't and you're wondering what is going on. So yeah, I think that's it for me. For me, the book is just an exploration of a family and seeing how a family developed and the situations we lived in, and I will suggest we read it. And the two lessons I want to share with you that I learned from the story is basically learn about where I come from by research, by learning, by asking people, by asking the elders. And also the second thing is learn to appreciate intergenerational discussions, like talking with people older than you, people who have lived decades before you might change your perspective about what you think your life should be or could be or is at the moment. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope you grab the book. Yeah, that's it. I will be writing a post also on the blog about it, like writing 5 things I learned from the book. I'm gonna drop the link here. And yeah, welcome to Distinguished Diva. Thumbs up, you know what to do. Thumbs up, like the video and share the video, and let me know your thoughts if you've read the book at all. Thank you so much.